Tea time. Tea time with Brian. So that didn't quite work. So, yeah, now it worked. Tea time, cheers. People often ask me what type of tea I can recommend or something like that. Well, I'm here in the Loft 47 doing coachings, and the really nice thing is that the Germans also have some very good tea brands. Yogi tea I can recommend. By the way, it's called Glückstee, which is happiness tea in German. Glück is actually a funny word because it also means luck. So it's luck tea. Well, it's happiness in the sense of glücklich sein. It's another topic. Anyway, cheers. Today's sharing is ego. The ego. And I start with a lovely little sentence from Ram Dass. The ego is a terrible master, but a wonderful servant. Ego is built on fear. Ego is built on fear and is also aligned to the personality and, of course, to the mind. In fact, it's not you. Ego is something that the mind and the reptile brain areas and the reptile thinking says we need in order to differentiate ourselves from other people and to build up our personality. And what we do when we build up the personality is that the ego feeds on that. It feeds on achievements and being better than, and comparison. And the harder the ego gets to live with, the more difficult it is for the heart, because the ego is something that feeds the mind. And I wish I could help people with not feeding the ego anymore. The ego doesn't need to be fed because it loves to be fed on fear. The pain body, as Eckhart Tolle mentions, is something that needs to feed the I and the personality. So I'm not saying it's bad. Ego is necessary for survival on a certain body and mind level, but it's not you. And to get to your authentic self, a little trick then is to stop. Ego loves comparison, or ego loves comparisons. Once you stop comparing and seeing the world through the eyes of the heart and soul and not through the eyes of the mind and the ego, you will find that you will find your own truth, which then leads you to authenticity and being authentic and being able to just be human also. Just be human, and being human is okay to be wrong, to make mistakes. To be authentic has nothing to do with this complete being lost and seeing things as good and bad, different to me, etc., etc. Try to see the world. There's a little trick that I use. I try to see people like trees, because once you start seeing people like trees, and you go into the woods and you don't see one tree as better than the other tree, or whatever, bigger than the other tree, or nicer than the other tree, or whatever. There's just trees out there. So when you start meeting people, try to just see them as a type of tree, and they have their own unique quality the way they are, and allow them to be whatever they are. And Stop judging them as good or bad. I know it's a risk being human. I know that when I got to the point of where I could actually say I am because I am what I am, that's it. I am what I am, and what happens is what happens. So try to live your own truth and allow your own truth and allow to be just I am, like I am. And if other people have a problem with that, that's their problem, because it's not your problem to be who you really are. Truth is ever to be found in simplicity. Isaac Newton. And with that, I say cheers, and till the next Tea Time with Brian.